I want to turn to the president's crackdown on immigration. There are nearly 100 legal scholars urging the president in a letter to keep an Obama-era program protecting young immigrants from deportation. According to the group, federal courts have ruled that the president can use his own discretion in granting immigrants temporary protective status. Can you explain this temporary status?
Yes, this is enormously complex. The president has what's called prosecutorial discretion, meaning he can decide who to deport and who not to deport. He can decide not to deport someone because it tugs at his heartstrings. He can decide not to deport someone because of their purchasing power and their contribution to the economy, for almost any reason he wants. When Barack Obama signed an executive order prohibiting the deportation of anyone born here, no matter their parents' behavior, the courts invalidated that and said you can't do this as a matter of policy. You can only do it on a person-by-person, presidential, or somebody in his behalf analysis. I don't know these legal scholars, although my understanding is that they want President Trump to go back and establish the program that President Obama did, which the courts invalidated and which candidate Trump attacked. Not very much of a chance that that's going to happen.
Judge, if you do this on a person-by-person basis, does that create a legal precedent then that afterwards is binding on the next president?
Good question, and the answer is no, because the president can choose not to prosecute or not to deport for almost any reason he wants, and his successor is not bound by that any more than Donald Trump is not bound by the decisions made by Barack Obama in the same field.
Now, we're talking about immigration, deportation. Is there any updates that's happening in the Ninth Circuit when we've seen the travel ban and everything that's been going on with that?
That case is going
to... Leave it to Kelly to put you on the spot.
Yeah, Sorry, Counselor Kelly. That case is going to be argued before the Supreme Court of the United States the second week in October.
Okay.
The government filed its brief last week. Those challenging the travel ban have about 3 more weeks to file their briefs. The Supreme Court gets a 3.5-month summer vacation. Not a bad job, Andrew. So they are still on summer vacation. They may be in their chambers, they may be in their homes, but they're not actively working until October. But come October, they will have out all the documents. They probably will pretty much know which way they're going to go, but they have to wait oral argument and then the conference that they have right after the oral argument. Expect a decision on that pretty soon, before Thanksgiving.
I suspect when the court comes back after their long break,
right,
where Judge Scalia always used to go to Italy for the summer, correct?
Yes, he did.
So when they come back, do you think that the speculation begins anew of who is the next justice to step down from the court?
You know, it's funny. Justice Kennedy, I think, is so happy to have not only a former clerk, but perhaps his, I'm going to get some people mad at me for saying this, favorite former clerk now as a colleague.
Judge Gorsuch.
Justice Gorsuch. I think Justice Kennedy wants to experience the joy of working with one of his proteges who's now an equal.
Well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I mean, she's going to be
That's going to be an act of God. I don't think she's going to want to leave on her own while President Trump is in office.
No, but
God does intercede in unique ways in his own due time and way.
Yes. Judge, you covered everything.
I covered everything you instructed me to cover.
No, it's not even instructed. I thought that the question of you go out and in a very just appalling display of hatred, get photographed with, you know, screaming like the neo-Nazi that you are, and then this individual is concerned about his bosses finding out about it.
Right. The New York Times this morning, not something that's always been favorable to us, quotes some of these creeps actually giving the Nazi salute, and you can see their faces very clear. I mean, they are presumed to intend the natural and probable consequences of their behavior.
Doug McKelway interviewed one on the air.
If they emailed or made any plans to do this while they are at work, would that then be grounds for dismissal?
Could very well be. Could very well be if they used work-related assets to join in a conspiracy.
Yeah. Judge, it was great to see you as
Likewise.
always.
All the best.
Napolitano.